maybe I'm inappropriate. I like hearing stories, I like the whole script. You're such a freaky girl, I love it.
Everybody know my name. Hi guys, it's so nice to see you again. Nikki New Hope again, or Daddy Issues. I want to just put out a video of do's and a video of don'ts as far as basic, beginner, newbie, need to know, necessary knowledge information for new sex workers, so that way I don't have to take up time in every single site's video to repeat the same information. I'm going to assume that it's common knowledge. I need you to at least hear this information for me. I think that's fucking cool that there's gonna be a whole generation of sex workers that have always had this information readily available to them, and they can, before making these decisions for themselves or before jumping right in, they can look it up on YouTube. That wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing. There's no such thing as absolute rules. You very well could be the exception to the rule. I love a good anomaly. Number one, create a stage name. But I'm gonna need you to, write it out a couple times, see if you like it, try it on, look at yourself in the mirror, be like, hey, can I fucking deal with being called this potentially for 10 years? And to go along with that name, you should probably create a backstory. Usually when you talk to people, clients will talk to you, customers will email you, they'll message you, they'll comment, whatever, and you're not going to answer using your own information. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to tell them necessarily where you went to school unless you're comfortable with that. You're already out of school, whatever. I just wouldn't do it. I mean, I would pick one similar, tell them that. And am I telling you to lie? Yeah. Basically, you can keep all your interests the same and dress up where you work at in the day. Like sometimes things can be sexier or more tailor-fitted to the niche that you're trying to pull off or the persona that you're trying to play. So maybe you're a secretary in the daytime, or maybe you're a librarian or whatever. And also this stage name is going to be the confident, fearless, sexy, outgoing, all the things that you maybe wish you could embody on a normal day-to-day basis. You know how Superman is Clark Kent for the whole day until somebody needs him, and then he goes into the phone booth and he puts on his Superman suit and he's Superman, and then when he's done, he gets back into that phone booth and changes back into Clark Kent. That's what you need to do. Make your stage name your super person and create her a little backstory, so that when you're talking to people and they ask you a question, you don't have to be like, you can just rattle off some information. So like a good way to do it would be like, look up one of those little questionnaire things, like how to get to know your roommate, what 50 questions to ask, and fill those out for your badass bitch persona, alternate ego stage name. Maybe not 50 questions, but you get it. You get it. I don't have to, you get it. After you have your stage name, you're gonna need an email address, whatever email provider you prefer for that stage name. Also, I would suggest making an Instagram for the stage name and a Twitter for the stage name. Twitter is a huge thing in sex work and adult entertainment. You can go further than that if you want. Like a Facebook page is not necessary right now, though. You can decide all those things later on. Go ahead and get you a Cash App, and a Venmo, and a PayPal. I know we'll go over the whole payment thing later. I would try to shy away from PayPal if at all possible. Using it, you should still have one though, because if they're gonna send you money, you might as well have a way to accept it. Then the next one is to set clear boundaries with yourself. So sit down and have a talk with yourself. What are you comfortable with doing? What are you not comfortable with doing? What are you comfortable with filming or taking pictures of, or so that you have those boundaries set clear in your mind already off the bat, and then nobody can make you waver from them. And stick to your guns. When you make a boundary, you fucking stick to it, because it feels really shitty if somebody manipulates you, and you will only let that happen once. Don't base it on anybody else. And a lot of sex workers, after however long in the industry, they end up being pretty open to most things. Not unsafe things, but most things, depending on price. Usually that's the determining factor. Just do what's good for you. Always trust your gut. Our bodies tell us if something's wrong or if something's off, and if you aren't exactly sure, ask. Find yourself a sex work idol. Not me, because I'm not that active. I'm not very on my shit as much as I would like to be in terms of like posting and updating things. So find somebody that's on their shit and you like the way they run their program, they're about their money, and watch what they do. I would recommend finding your niche, finding also not only the type of person you are physically or your persona that you want to portray, like even attitudinally too, if that's a fucking word. Figure out what words somebody would use to pull you up if they were searching on, say, Pornhub or Google even. How would they find a girl like you? What words would they type in? Would they type in girl next door? Would they type in blonde? Would they type in busty? Would they type in brat? What are you? It'll be a lot easier to then fill out profiles and bios and ads and taglines if you already have the information kind of decided upon. Then you can also go a little bit deeper and decide what kind of client are you attracting and try to get into their head so you can sell to them better. I would recommend having separate pictures for all of these sites, ones that you're not going to use on any other social media, and I feel like that's self-explanatory. You do not have to have a professional photographer, especially nowadays. iPhone quality is absolutely okay. Under promise and over deliver. I would also recommend getting a prepaid card in your name because you can send direct deposits to it and you can keep everything separate. Always save your receipts for hair stuff, makeup, sex toys, lingerie, camera equipment. The list goes endless, and that's for if you are going to do taxes at the end of the year, because you can write all of that stuff off: your rent, your internet, all of it. I would add a VPN extension to your web browser so that you can stay safe. Also, you can unblock certain sites that are blocked in this country. Save your money. Save your fucking money. Save it. Save it, because at least 30% every time. Just find it in your heart to do that for yourself. There are apps that save the change out of every one of your purchases. That adds up actually really quickly. You're going to want to save something because this business has ebb and flow, and you might have a good couple weeks and then you'll have a bad 6 months. Now, I mean, it's just, that's the nature of this industry. And you got to figure there's no vacation time, there's no health coverage, so you should also probably look into that at some point down the road. You're self-employed. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best, honestly, because there are periods, dry periods, or something like Sesta Fosta hits, and it's devastating. It's like showing up to work and the building being fucking torn down. So in those moments, you're gonna want to have saved something. The little phrase that I like to go by is the 7 P's of life. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So just try to apply that. Always be creative, be sincere and genuine, but don't take no shit. Build and foster positive relationships with clients and really appreciate regulars and repeat customers. Keep your business your business. You might think sex work is the best thing in the whole world, but your mother might not, or your sister might not. A lot of people are going to have skewed opinions about it, and you don't want somebody judging you in a false way just because they can't wrap their fucking head around it. Take days off and take care of yourself. Don't avoid burnout. Like, you always need time for you. Give yourself enough time to feel ready and feel confident. Don't drink or get high too much, because that always looks terrible. If somebody's belligerent and on cam, or if you end up posting pictures and they're fucking shit and you have to delete them next morning and you're mortified, have an exit plan, or at least think about one. It might be great right now, but chances are you're not going to want to do this your whole life. So that ties in with the saving money thing. It's nice to have at least one person, even if it's just a sex worker friend, that you can be open and honest with, because it's gonna be sometimes trying, or maybe difficult. I mean, just like with any job, honestly. I always say to answer messages like you're answering them for your best friend. Look at things differently. Your flaws, but guess what, baby? All those things you got made fun of in school, they're now the fucking thing that you should be advertising. You got a big nose? You got lopsided ears? You got fucking crooked teeth? You got a weird belly button? Great. Advertise that shit. Advertise that. Because the things that make you unique and different and you are all the rage, honestly. They are fetishized over almost everything you can think of. Research. Keep business relationships. Go into it with that mindset. Go into it with the mindset that it's completely off limits. It's against the rules, because, I mean, yes, people do end up dating clients, but it's extremely messy, and we'll talk about that later. Have fun. Explore who you are. Explore your sexuality if you want to. Try on different hats. Try on different names or personalities and attitudes and different. This is a social experiment, if nothing else. Take it as that. And so you don't have to be accountable for anything your stage name says or does. I would suggest saving all the selfies that you take, all the videos that you take, all the little snaps that you take. It's great that Snap saves them in the private folder or whatever, and so does Instagram and stuff. Just compile all of those onto a cloud so that they're accessible from any device, as well as saving them to an SSD, a solid state drive, so that you always have them physically someplace in case like anything gets wiped or a computer gets lost or a phone gets stolen, whatever. You'll always have those because you can sell them. Even if you don't want to sell them right now, you later on down the line can put them up on the websites. I mean, they're valuable. They're valuable right now. All of those selfies that you took in the bathroom, they're valuable. It's a good idea to also maintain like a social media presence, like update every now and then, you know what I mean? It's just gonna build up a reputation for you as a legitimate person, because like when you're like, you go to somebody's Instagram or Twitter and you're like, oh yeah, okay, they made it today and it's got 1 tweet and 4 friends, this is real. It's a good idea to keep notes and tabs on certain things and contacts. Good idea to get your own website. I would definitely recommend paying only a couple dollars for a domain name and then paying, you know, something like Wix, $10 or $15 a month for their web hosting. It just, that adds to your reputation. It just looks more professional. You can link it. You can make then banners on Canva that are clickable. And since you have that website, you should have a mailing list. So then you are compiling a list of email addresses that you can later market to. There are some other things that you can do with email addresses and Snapchat contacts and all kind of contacts too. Text message numbers. You can make money off of all of it eventually, or just market and cold call and hit people up, you know? I mean, it's why not help yourself like that? I recommend not ever doing anything because from the standpoint of I really need the money, you know, even if you really fucking need the money, always act as if you don't need the money, because then you can make clear, rational decisions. Should also just go ahead and take a picture of the front of your ID, the back of your ID, and your ID next to your face, because most of these sites, if not every single one of them, requires it for the 2257 law. Create little teasers or little clips to be able to just quickly put up advertising. Jiffy offers a GIF maker, which is neat because it just like loops. It's just like short. It's really easy. Maintain like lists, like make a bookmark folder that's just for these kinds of sites or this kind of information so that you always have it handy. Watermark your photos and videos. That's always a good idea so that nobody can steal them, and also so that somebody can see like, oh, okay, that's where I go if I want to see more of that. Make a wish list, an Amazon wish list. People will buy stuff off of it for you. And Amazon doesn't give up any of your information. Encourage people to leave you reviews and feedback and ratings, because that will definitely always help and help you to earn more. You can raise your rates after receiving good ratings and reviews. Don't get too big-headed. It's easy to get a confidence boost in the beginning of being a sex worker and be like, oh, I'm the shit, like, and get what they call GPS, which is golden pussy syndrome. Don't be a dick. Try not to be a dick unless that's your thing and you're a dom. Then be a dick. Try to practice good time management because you're your own boss. Do work with other girls, but in a smart way. Not all girls are going to have your best interests at heart, and a lot of them are catty and jealous, but it is a good idea to work with girls. It's a profitable idea. Just make sure that they're your type of girls. And block people. That's my last one. Don't be afraid to block people. Opening yourself up to the whole world online is a very brave thing, and it can be extremely challenging sometimes because of the nature of the internet and opening yourself up to anybody's opinions or to say whatever they want to you. Don't take it to heart. Take it not to heart at all. Don't even fucking take it. Just block the people. Literally, just block them. And most sites have a way to block, you know, cities, towns, regions, countries, states. If you're worried about, I don't want anybody from my hometown to see me. Also, don't worry about your information when you're signing up to go anywhere, just because you have the idea that it's skeezy or creepy because you're kind of skewed still a little bit, which is understandable. We've all been programmed a certain way or raised a certain way. Don't think that it's seedy in the sense that they're going to do something with your information, or your credit card's going to get stolen, or your ID is going to get leaked. It's absolutely not. These are absolutely compliant sites that are held accountable by legal, you know, federal law, because anything online is federal, and they are in the business of making money and keeping people's information safe, or otherwise they wouldn't be in business. I can't speak for every site, but I know that the sites that I'm going to recommend you're fine on. You're fine. I will answer questions and comments in the next video after the don'ts, so if you have any more, get them in now so I can answer them all in that video. Leave a comment down below. I want to hear your do's. If you're a sex worker, if you worked on any of these sites ever or whatever, what are your do's? Let me know as general do's. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. There is no other options except for subscribing and hitting that bell so you can get the don'ts as fast as possible, and then we'll get right back to the site reviews, okay? Bye.